There exists a particular breed of truck built during a specific window of manufacturing history that has achieved something no modern vehicle can replicate regardless of price or technology. These trucks have survived decades of the most punishing commercial use imaginable, accumulated mileage figures that would have destroyed lesser vehicles 3 times over, endured neglect and abuse that should have killed them years ago, yet they continue running, continue working, continue proving day after day that durability and longevity are not accidents of engineering, but deliberate choices that manufacturers used to make before profit optimization replaced quality. Right now, scattered across construction sites and ranch properties, these trucks are quietly outlasting and outperforming vehicles that cost 4 times as much. The people who rely on trucks as actual tools rather than status symbols, the contractors and farmers whose livelihoods depend on vehicles that simply will not quit, know exactly which models belong in this elite category. But this knowledge remains closely held, shared mainly among those who understand machines at the deepest level, while the general public continues buying trucks engineered to fail expensively just outside warranty coverage, never realizing that far superior options exist. Walk onto any job site where trucks face genuine daily punishment, where they haul heavy loads through rough conditions, where downtime costs real money, and reliability matters more than appearance, and you will notice a pattern. The same specific models appear repeatedly, not the newest trucks with the most sophisticated technology, but older vehicles that have proven themselves through decades of unbreakable service. These are not coincidences. These are informed choices made by people who have watched countless trucks come and go, who have learned through expensive experience exactly which trucks justify trust and which represent financial traps disguised as transportation. The first truck that dominates these demanding environments, appearing so frequently it becomes almost invisible through sheer ubiquity, is the second-generation Dodge Ram equipped with the 12-valve Cummins turbo diesel, produced from 1994 through 98. This engine represents mechanical simplicity taken to its absolute pinnacle. No fragile, high-pressure common rail fuel injection. That costs $8,000 to repair when it fails. No delicate emission systems with diesel particulate filters that clog. No complex variable geometry turbochargers with electronic actuators that seize and destroy the entire turbo assembly. Just a cast-iron inline-6 block, mechanical fuel injection using a proven Bosch rotary pump, a simple fixed geometry turbocharger, and fundamentals executed so correctly that 500,000 miles becomes routine rather than exceptional. The engineering philosophy behind this drivetrain prioritizes longevity above all else. The engine runs at low internal stress levels, never pushing components anywhere near their failure limits, which means parts wear gradually over decades rather than catastrophically after years. The mechanical injection pump requires no electricity to operate, meaning even if every electrical system in the truck fails completely, the engine will continue running as long as it has fuel and air. This is not theoretical durability discussed in marketing materials. This is proven reliability demonstrated through millions of trucks still working decades after they were built. Many on their original engines and transmissions despite usage that would have destroyed modern drivetrains multiple times over. But understanding why this 12-valve Cummins achieved legendary status requires examining what came after it, because the contrast reveals everything about how and why truck reliability collapsed. In 1998, Dodge updated to the 24-valve Cummins. The newer engine made impressive numbers on paper, but it sacrificed the bulletproof simplicity that made the 12-valve unkillable. The 24-valve uses higher injection pressures that accelerate injector wear. It incorporates more electronics that create additional failure points. It runs hotter and harder, trading longevity for performance. The 12-valve was designed to run forever at moderate output. The 24-valve was designed to impress buyers with power figures. The second truck that appears constantly in heavy-use commercial environments is the GMT 400 platform Chevrolet and GMC. Produced from 1988 through 98, particularly models equipped with the Detroit diesel or the later Vortec V8 engines. paired with heavy-duty manual transmissions. These trucks share the Cummins Ram's fundamental philosophy. They were engineered during an era when commercial customers expected vehicles to last 20 or 30 years, when fleet buyers demanded simplicity and repairability, when durability directly influenced purchasing decisions. The Detroit diesel option, a 6.5-liter indirect injection design, faces constant criticism from enthusiasts. The Detroit diesel makes adequate power for real work, and it does so using an engine design so simple that any competent mechanic can rebuild it. The Detroit diesel makes adequate power for real work, and it does so using an engine design so simple that any competent mechanic can rebuild it, using basic hand tools and readily available parts. When something does eventually fail after 200,000 miles of hard use, the repair costs hundreds rather than thousands, and the truck returns to service within days rather than sitting at dealerships for weeks. The manual transmission option in these GMT 400 trucks represents another critical reliability factor that modern trucks have abandoned. The NV4500 5-speed manual is a fully synchronized transmission with helical-cut gears and a cast-iron case that weighs over 100 pounds. This transmission is agricultural equipment-grade durable. It does not care about abuse. You can tow at maximum capacity. You can dump the clutch under full throttle. You can generally treat it in ways that would destroy any modern automatic within weeks. And the NV4500 simply continues functioning. Compare this to modern 10-speed automatics with their 17 different clutch packs, electronic solenoids controlling every shift, transmission control modules that cost $1,200 to replace, and complete assemblies that grenade at 70,000 miles requiring $8,000 replacements. The engineering priorities have inverted completely. Modern transmissions shift smoother and deliver marginally better fuel economy. Improvements measured in single-digit percentages, but they achieve these minor gains by sacrificing the fundamental durability. The NV4500 will outlast 3 modern automatics, cost a fraction as much to maintain, and still be rebuildable decades from now, using parts that remain readily available because the design is simple enough that aftermarket manufacturers can produce every component. These trucks are quietly outlasting and outperforming vehicles that cost 4 times as much and boast technology that supposedly represents the pinnacle, shared mainly among those who understand machines at the deepest level, while the general public continues buying trucks engineered to fail, never realizing that far superior options exist, if you know where to look. The third legendary work truck, one that mechanics universally acknowledge as perhaps the single most durable platform ever produced for American markets, is the Ford Super Duty with the 7.3-liter Powerstroke diesel, built from '94 through early 2003. This engine was not designed by Ford. It was designed by International Harvester, a company that built heavy machinery and agricultural equipment for a century before entering the pickup truck diesel market. International understood that farmers and construction companies would not tolerate fragile engines that failed frequently. So they built the 7.3 using design principles proven in commercial trucks and tractors. Cast iron block, forged steel crankshaft, direct fuel injection using a simple mechanical system, a turbocharger so understressed that boost pressures remain conservative even under maximum load. The result is an engine that produces modest power by modern standards, around 235 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque, but delivers that output so reliably and for so long that total cost of ownership becomes extraordinarily low. These trucks routinely exceed 400,000 miles on original engines without major repairs beyond routine maintenance. The fuel injection system, when it does eventually require service, can be rebuilt for under $2,000 using readily available parts, compared to modern common rail systems that cost $8,000 to $12,000 to repair. The engine itself, if you somehow manage to wear it out through decades of maximum duty use, can be completely rebuilt for around $4,000. But understanding which trucks achieved legendary reliability is only valuable if you can actually find and acquire them. And this presents challenges because the people who own these vehicles typically understand their value and rarely sell them. When a contractor finds a truck that has worked flawlessly for 15 years, that has never left them stranded, they do not trade it in for the latest model. They keep driving it until something catastrophic occurs, and even then, they often repair it rather than replace it because they know the reliability they have is irreplaceable. This creates a situation where the most reliable trucks are also the hardest to find available for sale. The ones that do appear on the market often have issues. Maybe the frame is rotting. Maybe the transmission finally failed. You cannot simply search for a 12-valve Cummins or a 7.3 Powerstroke and expect the first example you find to represent the legendary reliability. You need to evaluate carefully, separating the genuine survivors from the worn-out examples that have been abused beyond redemption. Start by identifying trucks that have actually been used for work rather than personal transportation. This sounds counterintuitive, but commercial owners maintain their vehicles religiously because downtime costs money. A contractor who depends on their truck for daily business keeps up with oil changes. A personal-use truck owner might skip oil changes, ignore warning lights, defer maintenance, and generally treat the vehicle as an appliance. The work truck shows its hard life through dents and scratches and faded paint, but mechanically it has been maintained properly. Look for service records that document consistent maintenance. The ideal candidate has oil changes every 5,000 miles. These records prove the truck was cared for mechanically regardless of how rough it looks cosmetically. Check the frame carefully for rust because these trucks are old enough that corrosion becomes a legitimate concern. Surface rust is normal and acceptable. Holes in the frame, flaking metal that crumbles under pressure, these are deal breakers that make the truck unsafe. Inspect fluid conditions closely. Engine oil should be dark but not black sludge. Transmission fluid should be red or dark burgundy. Coolant should be proper color for the type used, not rusty brown indicating internal corrosion. Start the engine cold and listen during the first 30 seconds. Some ticking as oil pressure builds is normal. Continuous knocking or rattling that does not diminish as the engine warms indicates serious internal problems. Check exhaust smoke on startup. A puff of white or light gray smoke that clears quickly is normal. Test drive on highways where you can verify the transmission shifts smoothly, where you can confirm the engine maintains power under load, where you can check that brakes stop the truck straight and firm without pulling or pulsing. If the truck passes these evaluations, you have likely found one of the last truly reliable work trucks still available. These vehicles will never win beauty contests. They will never impress neighbors with luxury features or advanced technology, but they will start every morning, work every day, and continue serving you reliably for years while the people who bought modern trucks are making payments on their third vehicle. The manufacturers who built these legendary trucks had not yet discovered that engineering planned failure generates more profit than building quality. They were competing on durability and reputation, trying to prove their trucks could outlast competitors, designing components to survive the harshest conditions imaginable. The modern industry has learned that this approach leaves money on the table, that forced obsolescence generates better returns than simple reliability. But the trucks built before this philosophy took over remain available, still working, still proving that durability is possible if manufacturers choose to prioritize it. Finding them requires knowledge and patience and careful evaluation, but the reward is owning the last trucks that were genuinely built to last forever.